Welcome aboard. This is Catherine in the area, and I know my audience, we will normally do a Bible study with my audience on Facebook. So looking at that opportunity to see that I've got so much friends on Facebook, and thank you very much for being friends with me, and I love you so much, my people on Facebook. And therefore I thought maybe what is it other than the Bible study that we can just do to ensure that we keep loving each other. Then I felt that maybe because I'm raising 5 boys, these are my boys, then I felt like that maybe let me do something that will assist my boys for them to grow as they are growing. And I'm a single parent, a female, raising 5 boys. You can imagine it's not easy, but through the grace of God, my kids are behaving. These are my kids. There's one missing that is working afar. But then I felt that let me do and touch on the issues of gender-based violence that is a scourge in our country or in the world. So I felt like let me maybe do something like an anti-gender-based violence and femicide strategy to ensure that our boys or my boys, they behave in a manner that is expected in our communities. So looking at that being a female, I thought, let me just call a person who is a specialist, Untate Masilela, who is our guest as we speak. And Untate Masilela, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. I felt that maybe let me find a male figure, because I always speak about gender-based violence to my kids. But as a woman, I felt that let me make a contribution in our country, in the economy, in my communities, in my neighborhood. So therefore, I felt that let me just invite you, Dr. Masilela, and you are more than welcome. As I've alluded on my introduction that I'm working on Facebook, I'm doing a Bible study, but I felt that life is not about the Bible, yet we are being affected on daily basis with many issues that are affecting us as people of this world. So I felt like now that gender-based violence is a scourge in our country, and I've got 5 boys, how can I contribute so that they become better men for their families, because they will grow and become men? What is it that maybe we can prune from them that has to do with gender-based violence? So basically, it's all about that. Ntate Masilela, over to you, you can introduce yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Vumile. I'm privileged to be in your house.
Thank you.
And I believe this is God's making. It's not about our thoughts. We should thank God for availing this day. So my name is Malesela Samasha. I'm from an environment where I deal on issues of gender-based violence.
Okay.
And also the chairperson of Men Safety Promoters, which is the program initiated by the Department of Community Safety in Gauteng. And the focus of the program is to encourage and sensitize men to do away with gender-based violence acts, and also trying to empower them to understand the dynamics or the challenges or the effects of gender-based violence in our lives generally. It doesn't affect women only or girls only.
Okay.
We too as men, even though we are perceived as perpetrators, but somehow, somewhere we are also affected by the scourge. But I want us to focus on the preventative aspect, whereby men should play a pivotal role to discourage other men. But I'm happy because here, it simply says charity begins at home.
Yes.
I'm proud to be in your family, family. And guys, I'm overwhelmed just to be among in your midst and try to engage on how we can assist each other as men to ensure that we become better society members or community members who will contribute positively to the livelihood of women and children, especially the girl child. So the other part is for us as men to understand who we are so that we are able to determine the future. And for us to navigate within the two, we should also be aware that there are certain things which we ignore or turn a blind eye as men, which affects women or girls. Our relationships with girls, how we relate with them, how we communicate with them. And at some point, you might think that what you are doing to a girl child or your girlfriend, it's positive, of which on the other side, on the flip of the coin, it's gender-based violence. It does have elements of gender-based violence. And as men, we lack platforms like this one in families. Okay. It's rare to find a mother sitting down with his boys talking about these kind of issues. And it's difficult in some families whereby men become, or young men become loose cannons.
To lack of a better way.
Yes.
Can we mix Zulu, English, Zulu, Sotho? Our audience is from, of an egg.
Yeah, then, but by town, and it becomes a problem, especially for parents. And post 1994, young men and young women thought we are having the totality of the rights that we think we are having, of which we are unaware that we've got a section in the Constitution that speaks to the limitations of rights. If a person says no, it's her right to say no. And once she says no, you must accept. Meaning, your right to communicate with or to relate with that person has got a limitation because this person says no. Okay, I want us also to look into this fact here, gender-based violence, or this problem we are sitting with in families in particular. Generally, it's a normative aspect which, one, involves power, two, involves violence, three, involves vulgar language, four, it also involves bitterness. And if you look at all these aspects that I mentioned, all of them, they contribute to the violence that we are seeing within our community. And we as men, we tend to remain silent when we see things happening in our relationships with our parents, in our relationships with our girlfriends, in our relationships with the general society. So it is important for us that when we conclude in this discussion, all of us, we understand our roles and responsibilities and also understand the rights and the limitations of rights so that we are able to be proactive in preventing gender-based violence and femicide. The element of femicide, sometimes people don't understand it because it's a new term that came into effect recently. But it has been there for far too long, And majority of us as men, we are committing that because of anger, frustrations, and also not talking to anyone whom we think we are comfortable to share our frustrations with. And in this family, I'm so happy because you are, when I look at your faces when I arrive here, there is a positive energy between yourselves and your mother. And that on its own, it says that should be entrenched so that going forward, when you go out, you spread similar love that you are having in your family to external people. And gradually, your friends, the circle of your friends, how many are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you are having 1,000 friends. 1,000 friends, 1,000 friends. Ultimately, you are having 4,000 friends.
Yes.
The positive energy that you transfer to your friendship cycle, it will assist to multiply at the end of the day the waves of respect, the waves of love, the waves of understanding, compassion, empathy, and sympathy will grow. So it's important that you look, when you do things, you look into that angle. That the center of your being is your family. Whatever challenge you are encountering, you should be able to share with your family. Gone are those days wherever Mushimanujia Malagosta. You will get
advices on
wrong advices on the road. So it is important that you sit as a family, and I hope God will bless the family to be like this, intact and respecting each other, loving each other, assisting each other, shouldering the challenges that you are having and trying to find solutions. It is important that whatever challenge you are encountering, especially on GBV issues, you are able to come up with solutions on your own. Don't wait for illegal activity happening or yenzakala bese uthi mamyenze iput.
Yes.
And if you are having relationships with girlfriends, my advice, I know it's not an easy thing between us as men, that we should have the word compromising. This person has got 32 teeth. She's not an orange where you took from the tree. It's a person who anamle menafeli. So she's got her values, she's got her principles. You too, you do have your own values and your own principles. So you put the two on the table before you can indulge into intimate activities. Open up. Yes, I know sometimes we want to test with the water first before we then say, no, I don't want you to do 1, 2, 3. But you didn't allude that in the beginning. So it is very, very important to ensure that you put everything in the plate before you can indulge into sexual activities, into intimacy. And that, for me,
yes,
I think it will be the basis to try and nip the violent behavior that we see in most of men within our society.
Okay, thank you very much. Let us give Ndade Marisela a hand. Thank you very much, Ndade. What a mouthful submission that you've made. And indeed, thank you very much. With my boys, I think one will believe we've got a good relationship with them, but then maybe they feel something, and then you find when somebody has done something, then a person says, no, Mina, I was not okay just since I was very young. That is where, because I've observed that when these perpetrators now are arrested, now we find another submission with Mina, I was very ngaba abused, ngaba njani, but akaza share ekhaya. So I felt like, since I'm raising these boys, I will think maybe things are fine, that the things are not fine. Maybe let me bring a male figure. And it's not about also for these boys only. It's about the communities at large. It's just that I wanted to test waters with my own boys because God has entrusted me with 5 boys. The other one is 25 years now. He's a graduate, he's working. So this one is at university now doing his 3rd year in architect. Next year it's going to be his final year. These ones are in high school, you understand? So in my heart, I felt like, let me establish an anti-gender-based violence and femicide strategy, a preventative measure, than being reactive, than being by default. Now a person is arrested. It's only when I see her, maybe I should leave, But then I was waiting for so long. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have a studio. I'm going to have a big house for me to run these programs. I can't reach that level. So I said, whatever that I have, let me use my house. You understand? So thank you very much, Ndate, and God bless you so much. So I think the next phase now, Ndate, I just want us to understand at their age. This one will introduce himself. How old are you? 17, I think, 22. From 17 to 22 or 18 to 22, that age. So, how do they feel at this age? And for whatever reason, what comes to his mind? You understand? My girlfriends, and to be honest, I told them to tell me everything. These boys, some of them, I'm not sure whether they have girlfriends or not, but some they do have. They were at the level where we speak. But then, to those who have girlfriends, even if you can say we are not recommending it, but where they will do these things behind our backs. So I prefer now, looking at gender-based violence and every other issues, I prefer them to talk to me. That is why even like the next to the 22-year-old boy, he came to me with him, Yazini, we had an issue, and then we advise each other accordingly. You understand? This is how we talk, and I love that. You understand? Because times has changed. Yeah. In our times, we were not allowed. We were ensuring that we don't do, but now they are doing these things. Rather than being ignorant as a parent, I just came to them openly. Even if when you tell me, before you tell anybody else, tell me. So we talked at that level. That's why I thought, let me do this. Also, I'm a pastor. Being a pastor at church, I meet different kinds of people. So I believe I must start, in all my target groups, because God has given me that people love me so much. So I felt that let me use that opportunity rather than people talking about other things. Let us just build each other. What I'm doing is to show love even to my audience. Because even on Facebook, some of them will be assisted. That is me saying, I love you all. Let us talk about issues that are affecting us. So rather than say, hi, that there are underlying issues. So maybe I'll leave it at that. But I wanted to channel you, which now I think let's go for interviews now. Okay. Maybe we'll interview them, maybe in a group format or whatever, I don't know.
Okay.